Welcome to Mysterious and Chilling. Tonight, we have a story that will make you question what hides in the ordinary, what lurks just beyond the edge of your hearing, and why some things are better left untouched. Listen closely, but remember, sometimes curiosity comes with a price. The Music Box. It was a quiet afternoon when a little girl wandered through the narrow streets of her town. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the cobblestones, and the air smelled faintly of old wood and distant rain. As she passed by an old, almost forgotten shop, her eyes caught something unusual in the dusty window. There it was, a delicate music box glimmering softly in the fading light. The box was small, no bigger than a loaf of bread, yet it was covered in intricate carvings that seemed to twist and turn like tiny snakes frozen in gold. A tiny handle on its side shimmered, as if inviting her to turn it. The girl stepped closer. She'd never seen anything so beautiful. Her fingers itched to touch it, to hear the soft melody that might emerge from inside. She pressed her face closer to the glass, and at that moment she knew she had to have it. Inside the shop, the girl asked the shopkeeper the price. The woman behind the counter, her face pale and sharp, raised a thin eyebrow. "How much do you have?" the woman asked. The girl fumbled in her pocket and pulled out every coin she had. 35 cents in total. The shopkeeper counted them slowly, her eyes lingering on the girl as if measuring something invisible. Then she nodded. "That's enough," she said. "It will be yours." The girl clutched the music box, and it felt heavier than it looked. She thanked the woman and ran all the way home, her heart pounding with excitement. She wanted to wait for her mother, but she couldn't resist. She wound the tiny handle and opened the lid. At first, the melody was sweet and soft, like a lullaby. But as the notes danced in the air, there was something strange about them. The tune seemed to stretch, growing longer and colder, and the shadows in the room deepened unnaturally. The girl's ears picked up something beyond the music, a faint whispering that tickled the edges of her consciousness. And then she saw it. From the music box a shadow emerged, not a shadow cast by light, but a shadow that seemed alive, solid and dark, slipping across the floor toward her. It was Death, though it looked nothing like the stories she had heard. It was taller than her, formless, yet its presence pressed down on her chest, cold and suffocating. The music that once felt sweet now carried a terrible weight. It called to her, lured her, and then, before she could scream, it was too late. Her soul was drawn from her body, leaving only a lifeless shell behind. But Death was not done. It moved slowly, waiting for anyone else who might hear the music. Outside, the girl's mother was walking back from the market. She paused when she heard the faint melody drifting through the streets. Something in her chest tightened. She remembered an old warning her grandmother once whispered, "Death only takes those who hear the music." Acting on instinct, she covered her ears with a scarf, wrapping it tightly, as though the cloth itself could shield her from the invisible hand reaching for her soul. Inside, the girl's body twitched as the music continued, her soul trapped in a liminal space, suspended between life and whatever lay beyond. Her mother rushed into the room, eyes wide with horror. The music box sat on the floor, spinning on its own, the melody never stopping. The air grew thick and heavy, as though it was alive, pulsing with a rhythm that matched the rapid beating of terrified hearts. The mother did something she hadn't planned. She picked up the music box and flipped it upside down, hoping to reverse whatever had happened. For a brief moment, the room went silent. Then a faint light flickered from the box, and the girl gasped, her soul returning, though something had changed. She could no longer hear. Silence had become her world. The mother, shaking, placed the music box in the oven. Flames licked the edges of the delicate wood, and smoke filled the room. But even as the fire consumed it, a faint note escaped the box, so soft it could barely be heard. Yet it carried with it a warning that was almost alive. From that day on, the little girl lived in silence, a world without sound. But sometimes, late at night, a faint melody would drift through the corners of her mind. She would shiver, knowing that the music box had not truly gone, and that some things, once heard, never leave completely. And so, the story remains unfinished. For the music box is still out there somewhere, waiting for the next curious soul, its melody carrying a promise or a threat, depending on who listens. Even after the music box was gone, the story didn't end. Locals whispered about a strange shop that appeared only to those who were curious, a place that seemed to exist outside of time. Some claimed that on quiet nights, far away from the town, you could hear a faint melody drifting on the wind. Those who followed it sometimes returned, but not quite the same. Their eyes seemed distant, as if they were listening to a song no one else could hear. One man, an old clockmaker, once told a story about a music box he had bought decades ago. He said it played only for him, always when he was alone, always when the night was darkest. At first, the melody was beautiful, comforting even, but over time it changed. It whispered secrets of the past, hinted at futures that never came, and occasionally he could swear it was laughing. He kept it hidden in a locked cabinet, yet he could never stop hearing it in his dreams. The lesson, he said, was simple but chilling. Curiosity can open doors to things we are never meant to understand. Some melodies carry more than notes. They carry memories, intentions, and even life itself. And some music, once heard, never truly leaves. So, next time you hear a faint tune in an empty room, or the soft creak of a music box where no one placed it, remember, it might not be just a song. It might be something waiting for you, patiently, in the shadows.